Most people on YouTube do not speak English, even if they live in the United States of America. Did you know that? Most people on YouTube these days, they don't speak English. They speak Val speak. That's right, they speak Valley Girl talk. Have you noticed that? They don't even speak English. See, because you go on YouTube, every video, it seems nowadays, you go on YouTube, it's like every statement is a question. Have you noticed that you go on YouTube and every time they say anything, it has a upward inflection, like it's a question. So you go in there and so every time you see new videos on YouTube, they always say, it's always something like this. Today I'm going to do a tutorial on how to make a tri-corner colonial hat out of empty Lime-A-Way bottles. And you notice how that's how they talk. And it's every statement. Those aren't questions. Those are statements. But they have a rising pitch, like it's a question. That's not the English language. That's not American English. They claim to speak English when they don't. I mean, I don't have anything against people just because they. I mean, really, I don't have anything against somebody just because they don't speak English. But why are they going around? Why is somebody on YouTube going around claiming that they speak English when they don't? That's not English. That's not English at all. So today I'm going to do a tutorial on how to clean your vacuum cleaner using used Band-Aids. That's not English. See, that's Val speak. That's a whole separate language. How is it that they, since we're talking about people who claim to have graduated from high school, how do they even graduate? Because when I was in high school, 4 years of English was required. Even if you already spoke English. Even if you were already fluent in the English language. And lived in the United States of America your whole life, 4 years of English was required. So how did somebody actually graduate from high school without knowing English in the United States of America? Can somebody explain that? How they graduate high school and they don't even understand English? And the thing is, things that actually are questions don't actually. Every time they do a video that has questions in it, the parts that actually are questions don't have that rising pitch at the end. Like there's a lot of videos going around. It's like a question tag, like 32 random questions. And here's how they do this. Today I'm going to answer 32 random questions. So let's get started. And then they get to the question. It says, first question: how did you get your YouTube handle? And shouldn't that be the one thing that actually has a rising pitch at the end? Shouldn't it be, how do you get your YouTube handle? Instead they say, how do you get your YouTube handle? And they always say, our first question is, how do you get your YouTube handle? Well, my YouTube handle is Preparation H75 because last night I found that I had 75 hemorrhoids from sitting around too long making stupid YouTube videos. So see, that's how they do it. That's the official language of YouTube. It's not English. It's not English at all. And yet a lot of them, they criticize people for not learning English. Like they get mad at people from other countries moving in to the United States and not knowing English. and and they say, shouldn't people at least learn English before coming to this country? What a bunch of hypocrites! They don't even know English themselves. They expect somebody to come to this country, and so somebody who works hard to come to this country, they expect them to just learn English all within a day. You know, it doesn't work that way. And it sort of reminds me of Archie Bunker. How Archie Bunker always used to say, well, shouldn't people who come to this country at least learn themselves the language? That's what it's like. I mean, YouTube is the new Archie Bunker. YouTube is a Valspeak Archie Bunker. That's what it is. That's what it really is. YouTube is a Valspeak Archie Bunker. It's like having Archie Bunker speaking Valspeak. That's exactly what it's like. You almost expect, every time you see a YouTube video, you almost expect him to say, "Hey Edith, stifle, will ya?" That's what it's like. Hey meathead. People who come to this country should at least learn themselves the language, meathead. That's what you expect them to say. But I mean, they're just as. And the thing is, now Archie Bunker. Now they're worse than Archie Bunker. You know, people on YouTube these days, a lot of the people complaining about stuff on YouTube, they're actually worse than Archie Bunker, because you know Archie Bunker. Archie Bunker, he was a hard-working guy, but he was duped by a lot of bigoted things that he heard and that type of stuff. He was more of a product of his upbringing. You know, he was many generations ago. He was raised in the 1920s when people had less enlightened views about stuff. But I'm talking now, people on YouTube. I'm talking about people who were raised in the 70s or 80s, perhaps even later. So there's no excuse. And besides that, these people on YouTube have had everything handed to them their whole lives. So they've had more opportunities to learn, and to learn about the way the world really works, and to get out more, and to not be judgmental. Now see, Archie Bunker, he was a product of his environment, but yet people on YouTube have had so many more opportunities than Archie Bunker had, and they don't use them. They squander them they've had every opportunity to learn about how the world works and how society works, and they squander them. They waste them. You know what they are? They're wasted. See? So that's what's just so outrageous about all of it. You know, sometimes, a lot of times, if people work hard, you know, society pits them against each other. So, you know, so people get judgmental about things, and they don't get to go out much, so they start thinking weird things. But the people on YouTube don't have an excuse. So they just sit around and complain. They complain in Valspeak about people not knowing English when they don't know it themselves. See, they're just as bad as Archie Bunker, only worse. They're basically a preppy Archie Bunker. That's what they are. They're a preppy Archie Bunker. But they speak the official language of YouTube.